The number one, do you know what the number one most important thing in marketing is?
Sure, you're about to tell me.
Do you have any idea?
Consistency.
No, your name. Your business name is the single most important marketing you'll ever do in business. And the general concept of a name is it should at least tell you what you do. That's what a name should do. Okay. Now, when patients go to chiropractors, Sean, or after there's a need, people go and buy products and services in one of five categories. Number one is always the same in every category, trust. We'd rather go to a trusted source anytime we buy anything. Okay. After that, there's four variables. These four variables differ per industry, but here's what they are in chiropractic. In other words, when somebody wants to go to chiropractor, the first thing they'll try to do is go, see if there's a family member or friend that knows of the chiropractor. After that, number two is proximity. 75% of the reason somebody will pick a chiropractor is the brick and mortar. That's a brick and mortar location. Then after that, its price is about 15 to 20%. And then after that, it's service, and then quality. Quality is number 5 on the list, and it's only 3%. Service and quality are 3% of the reason why somebody will pick a chiropractor. So having said that, when you name a chiropractor, this is how you name chiropractic businesses. So what's the first most important word in a name? Chiropractic. So if I was selling pizza, I better damn well have pizza in my name. Okay, what's the second most important word? The location. Why is the location important? Because that's why 75% of the people will pick a location. And especially today in the internet age, the link, the .com, the words in that .com have the highest priority for SEO, search engine optimization. So that's why when I opened offices, every office was not named after me. It was always named after that city. That's why, because of what I just told you. So I know you didn't know that. And so you've got, your office name is New Spring Chiropractic. So you got chiropractic in there, which is great. Now, what does New Spring mean to anybody who's looking for a chiropractor? It means absolutely nothing. Zero. You might want to consider changing your name depending on how much it's out there and how much business you've done. And, if guys that come to me and they've been in practice 20 years that have a crappy name, I just say, just leave it alone. Also, what kind of referral you rate? If you have a real high referral rate, especially if it's a passive referral rate. Active, the name won't matter because you can just create them on your own. Passive, the name now matters. So if you got a 70% referral passive rate, don't change that name. Okay. But one thing you might want to consider is changing that name because it's a worthless name, especially if you're going to open another office. So New Spring Chiropractic has absolutely no meaning to somebody who's looking for a chiropractor. It doesn't feel trust. First of all, it doesn't feel trust. It doesn't feel proximity. It doesn't feel price. It doesn't feel service, and it doesn't feel quality. So I just wanted to share that with you. You take it for whatever it is and do what you want with it. Okay. And then typically the third word that you want in a name is the niche that you want to pursue. And a classic example is like doctors that want to do personal injury. Well, they should have injury in that name. So it'd be like, Fort Lauderdale injuryclinic.com. See, that's a great name. If you're a chiropractor and you wanted to focus and your practice was in Fort Lauderdale and you wanted to focus on injury. So that's the priority, first, second, and third relative to a name. do what you want with it, however you want. But anyway, especially if you're going to focus on personal injury or something like that, and the same thing if you were focusing on family. If you wanted a family practice and a generic family practice, then that would be the third word. It'd be Fort Lauderdale Chiropractic, Fort Lauderdale Family Chiropractic. It'd be a mix somewhere where those three words would be in there. That's how that works. That's how you name a business. Now, under that, you have what's called a USP, a unique sales position. Yours says focusing on corrective chiropractic care. Well, where does that fall into the 5 categories of where that's what USPs are? Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. See, they went for the quality component. When Papa John's came out, there was nobody who owned the quality category of pizza. That's why he picked better ingredients, better pizza. He went for the quality of the 5 factors: trust, location, price, proximity, quality, service. Now, what most people do is they reverse engineer. You don't make stuff up. You reverse engineer and you go, well, what's the order of what they want and what percentage of it is there? So you go, okay, 75% is location based. Well, that's huge. That's a major. And then you could say, well, 3% is a quality factor. You go, well, that's relevant though. What if 3% represented a ton of people? Then that's a pretty, like 3% of America. That's a lot of people. So I'll take 3% of 330 million people. But that's not chiropractic. Chiropractic's 8%. It's 8% utilization over a year. And it's limited by your geographic radius of draw. In an urban city, it's 80% is going to be 1 mile. In a suburb, like where you're at, it's 2.5, 3 miles. You're going to get 80% of your 3. In rural, it's 7 miles. And all of those are going to be defined by what's called psychographic barriers. It will not be circumferential equal. It will not be. So we're looking at focusing on chiropractic care. That's a classic, I don't know how to say this kindly, but that's a narcissistic chiropractic phrase. That's a chiropractor thinking like a chiropractor. It has absolutely nothing to do with the target market. A target market doesn't have a damn clue what that means. Those are industry keywords: corrective care. Average Joe Blow doesn't have a clue what corrective care means. Not a clue. And none of them are looking for it. So you did all the common mistakes people do when they're not educated in marketing. You picked a bad name. You picked a bad USP. And both of those are the 1-2 punch, the single most important and second most important component in business. Okay. So anyway, do what you want with that. If it were me and I was in practice only 8 years, 8 years is not a long, if you were under 5 years, I would recommend you definitely change it. One of the doctors just learned this on the West Coast, and he's been in practice, I think 5, 6 years, something like that. And he had a crappy name like that too, that was absolutely meaningless. Well, once we educated him on how to name it, he immediately changed it to chiropractic, and then he had the location, and he wanted to focus on personal injury, so he included the injury. And now he has a great name, so when you see that name, you know exactly what you're dealing with, and it goes into the SEO on the internet also. So anyway, it's always a real emotional topic every time I talk about this with doctors who already have a name, because they're already emotionally tied to their name. It has nothing to do with logic and reasoning. They're just emotionally tied to that name. So anyway, that's why when I opened offices in 77 offices in 20 states, that's why each individual office was named that city's location chiropractic. And that alone was worth a lot of money, we would easily get a minimum of one patient just from the advertising of people Googling that location, chiropractor to that location. We would easily get one new patient a week just from the proper name itself, period. And you can do the math. You can go, okay, one new patient a week, minimum. That's minimum. And then just because we said the right, we reverse engineered and we put out the right words. So, and then you can do the math and go, well, what's a case average worth? Well, you can calculate your case average, take your total collections over a period of time, divide it by your the new patients in that same period of time. That'll give you your case average. Let's say your case average is $1,000 and once a week, that was worth $52,000. And you go, well, how much is $52,000 worth to you? Well, for me, it paid a mortgage, paid a car payment, and it paid a mortgage. That's how big of a damn deal it is. It'll pay your mortgage. So do what you want with it. But I just wanted to share with you, you did exactly wrong with 99 out of 100 chiropractors do when they haven't been trained in the basics of marketing.